Welcome back to the So What Morning Show. And it's rare that I do a topic over. In other words, back to back or part two. If we do a part two, it's typically a year and a half, 2 years later. But this topic is so needed and so important that we decide to revisit it the week after. Listen, dick management, an important topic in terms of, is masculinity out of control? How do we raise our boys? Are we raising our boys to disrespect our women? Is disrespect of women inherent in being a man? I mean, it's such an important topic, and we want to cover a lot of the myths about manhood. We want to cover what people consider a man code, or does the man code itself need to be rewritten? I mean, it's a heavy topic. We got Lou Nell, we got Corey Holcomb, we got Bobby G, Dr. G, Jeff Brown, myself, and others to weigh in on this most timely topic. Listen, it's about to happen in a couple of minutes. You can't miss this show. I'll be with you in a moment. So What Mornings, we're going to keep pushing the envelope. I'll see you in a second.
But you not gonna pay for it. Get administrative leave, no incarceration. Then they giving you a paid motherfucking vacation. We living on a concrete plantation. I'm the glitch in the matrix, bitch. I'ma change your station. You want a war, I'ma put you on my shit list.
You gon' fuck around and make us boycott Christmas.
You want a war, I'ma put you on my hit list.
You gon' fuck around and make us put you out of business.
Yeah, you want a war, I'ma put you on my shit list.
You gon' fuck around and make us boycott Christmas.
You want a war, I'ma put you on my hit list.
Let this second verse ride.
Black money, black power. Stop spinning it for just 24 hours. Then they recognize your life and your money matter. The glass ceiling will suddenly begin to shatter. You ain't got no money, but you gotta get the new Jordans. Think about the white supremacy your money do support. See, economically, they need your money to survive. If they ain't got it, how the fuck they gonna stay alive? You better wake up. You want a war, I'ma put you on my shit list.
You gon' fuck around and make us put you out of business.
You want a war, I'ma put you on my hit list.
You gon' fuck around and make us boycott Christmas.
Yeah,
You gonna fuck around and make us boycott Christmas. That's a new record from my homeboy Truth. That's the brother who does the marching orders record. Wow. Keep sending me the records. I'll keep playing them. Listen, if you're an artist, you think you dope, got beats, got something to say, email me. I'll play your record. You gonna fuck around and make us put you out of business. Boycott Christmas. Woo, that's some hell of a, that's a call to action for your ass. Ladies and gentlemen, the So What Morning Show back in the building. October 6th, the year is getting away. It's almost over. 2014 coming to an end. And there's a lot of stuff we need to cover. Man, I'm happy to be back. 855-878-4652 is the number to dial. Follow me on Twitter at Zoe Williams. Follow me on Instagram at Mr. Zoe What. The So What Morning Show is back in the building with a continuation to last week's topic. But before we get there, community empowerment. It's important. We've got Weed Juice in the building. Listen, organization. Right? We don't organize by an economic strategy of support for black-owned businesses across the board. We're in trouble. We're in trouble. We're in trouble as a people. We've already told you about what supporting black businesses does for us. We've already told you about recycling of black dollars. Weed Juice is a black-owned business. Black people suffer from poor nutrition. This is a black business. We killed 2 birds with 1 stone by supporting Weed Juice. Sounds like a plan to me. Please support Weed Juice. WeedJuice.com. The brother does this himself. He's a small business. Call to action. Go support him right now. We've got Veronica Conway on the phone right now because we're going to offer, hey, hun, we're going to offer this final call because her boot camp started last Saturday. I'm on the call. It's an incredible, I mean, people who were on the call have been calling me personally and emailing me personally saying, okay, Veronica is something crazy. She's off the charts. And people's lives are changing and their concepts are shifting. Can you talk to us really quickly about the final call that we're going to do this week?
Yeah.
Talk to us about it.
Yeah, it's last call, y'all. So we got 86 days left in 2014.
Wow.
And that's it. And if you don't get your money and your business straight before 2015, you may never get it straight. That's just kind of what it is at this moment in time. So we got last call. We're doing another final conference call tomorrow. As sort of you can kind of get a flavor, get your business questions answered, if you know that you are the blockage from you and having money and having business, then I just kind of break them down. I just break it down and dissolve the blocks right before your eyes. So we're going to do a call tomorrow, 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. You'll be co-hosting that with me, Zoe, right?
Absolutely.
And that call is free, and you can call 425-440-5100. That's 425-440-5100.
Yeah.
And the access code is 636-167 pounds.
Wow. Wow. Very important. Very important. Again, thank you, Veronica. I'm trying to provide the resources to you to change your life. Whether you take them or not, that's on you. Listen, we got books to support. Just listen. Mark Goulston. He also has another one that I like. What's the name of the persuasion one?
Real Influence.
Real Influence. Great, 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 great book. Please support Dr. Mark Goulston. Very important that we continue to support the movement that supports us.
Can I just say something for Veronica to get her more people? Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
For all you people out there, all of us.
You people, be careful.
Everybody who's listening to this thing, all of us have moments where we say enough already. And the problem is when we hit the enough already moment, instead of finding a way to sort of get through it, which Veronica Conway is giving you, we go out and do something to make ourselves feel better. We go get drunk, we go spend, and then we feel guilty, we feel ashamed, and we miss out. So if you're having an enough already or had enough moment, you really need to take advantage of it. I mean, she's the real deal.
She is.
And really, don't waste an enough already moment by going out and getting drunk and then feeling guilty the next day.
Exactly. Real Men Don't Play. Bobby Glanton Smith. Very, very good dude.
Another very good book.
Very good book, man. We talking about dick management part 2. So this is a manual for manhood. He's compiled a bunch of heavy cats that have a heavy perspective about life, about what it means to be a man, particularly a black man in America, and a black man of success, of renown.
How he got these guys, I have no idea.
It's amazing, man.
It's amazing
so I appreciate Bobby Glanton Smith. Please go to realmendon'tplay.com and get your copy. And then finally, I'm down to the last 15 copies.
14, give me that.
But okay, I'll give it to you. I'm down to the last 14 copies. Please go to my website. I'm telling you, the second book is amazing. I'm pleased. I'm blown away. I sent the first, I think, 4 or 5 chapters to Dr. G. Dr. G is going to do the foreword for the book.
Oh, cool.
But man, Dr. G and Cool Mo D is also writing a preface.
Mr. Deweese?
Mr. Deweese, yes. And I'm excited. And I'm using this book to propel the next book. So we need you guys to go to my website right now. IamZoeWilliams.com. Don't play yourself. There's only 14 copies remaining. Go do that right now, and I'll get it out to you because I'm going to the mail tomorrow to send off some pending packages. So let's continue to support the movement. Let's continue to support each other. Really quickly, Black Business Roll Call, Arise Hospitality, the Black Office Depot, the Black Staples. Everything they got, Arise Hospitality has. And this is a Black-owned company that can take care of all of your office needs, ink, toner, desktop, paper, furniture, technology, all office supplies. They got it. Ramo Mart. Get to ramomart.com. I support this young brother. He's only 28 years old.
Killing.
He's an artist. The dude is like a Renaissance man. And these are just his t-shirt lines. You guys have no idea. His high fashion line is incredible as well, too. Suits, bespoke tailoring, all of that. Hiploose.com. Listen, we are working diligently to produce the Line of Succession by Zoe Williams. It's a high-end tailored suit line that I'm about to debut, and these guys are the tailors behind it. Bespoke tailoring, it's gonna be off the chain. The Line of Succession by Zoe Williams. I'll be wearing another one of my clothing, one of my suits
When you get down.
next week. Next week I'll have on a new one. But yo, Line of Succession, hiploose.com. Who else we got? Pharaonic Designs? No clog plumbing. I'll take them. Black-owned plumbers, man. They doing it. Gotta support them. Pharaonic Designs. Let's go. Support these guys. You need a website? Well, look at all of this. This is awesome. Look at this here. That's Pharaonic right here. I guess this is his Instagram. Awesome. This is Pharaonic Designs. He has a lot of nice designs. Please continue to support. Easy Boy Web is another. Even Hole in the Head. Easy Boy Web, they do websites. They're building my website now. You're going to see their work in 30 days. When you see the I Am Zoe Williams new website, Easy Boy Web is designing it right now. I'm just telling you. I'm dealing with black businesses. If you not, I don't know what to tell you. But I'm dealing with black businesses. So let's keep this thing rolling. When I come back, topics. It's going to get crazy. Guests. Uh-oh. Who's ready for the marching order? Hey, turn this up right now. Take us out with this. Zoe Up Mornings. About to get nuts.
Put your boots on. Get outside.
Hey, let him ride. Let him ride. Let him.
And one of the greatest tragedies in life is getting to the end of your life and looking back and realizing it was mediocre and it didn't have to be that way.
The number one reason is people are unwilling to listen and care about what's important to the other person. But what if you could be someone who dared to care about everybody in your life? When you're in love, smoke gets in your eyes. But when you're anxious, you talk more than you listen. I asked my wife a month ago, I said, I don't know whether to have an affair or buy a motorcycle. And she said, if you have an affair, I'll kill you. If you get the motorcycle, you'll kill yourself. Go with the bike. Okay, so here is why dick management is so difficult. Especially if you were during the Nixon administration. Anyway, but that went under the table. Before I became a psychiatrist, when I was in medical school, I worked at Topeka State Hospital, which is a psychiatric hospital in Topeka. And one of the things that one of the psychiatrists said to me about some of the poor kind of schizophrenic guys out in the day room, he said, it's really a shame that when these men are jerking off, we have to put them in their rooms and put them in restraints because it's so disruptive. And the reason it's a shame is because that's when they're in touch with humanity. They're getting turned on, and it gives them a sense of both power and relief, but because it's so disruptive, we have to sort of put them in their rooms, whereas at all other times they're hallucinating, they're out of touch, and it's like we're punishing them for having feelings connected to the real world, and because it's so chaotic, we punish them. And they didn't have a better thing to do. But you can't have guys out in the day room jacking off because it was just so crazy. And this was a real decent guy. He just threw his hands up and said, "We don't know what else to do." But what I'm getting at is, I think the reason dick management is so difficult is it gives you both a sense of power and relief. And there's a lot of and think of all the points in life where you need relief and you feel unempowered. So maybe the solution is if you could give guys especially a way to feel powerful and feel relief when they feel real tense, maybe they could manage their dicks better.
Wow, dick management is necessary, especially with regards to what the hell is going on in the world. We had to do this topic again. People, have been clamoring for it. I normally don't do a topic over. At least not for a year or something. I don't, hey, baby. I don't revisit a topic. Well, I decided that I needed to. So today's topic, again, MAN, Manifest Answers Now. Dick Management 101, Part 2. Is masculinity out of control, right? Do we need a new manual for young boys growing up in today's modern American society, right?
Yep.
Now, if white boys need a new manual, you can only imagine what kind of manual work young African American boys need.
Can we go with Negro?
The Negro spiritual manual.
We
need a new manual, right? So, with that said, I've got questions. Of course, we're going to cover domestic violence. We're going to cover masculine silence, right? Masculine silence. You know what that means? How if a dude is going in on a girl, how we kind of just got that New York state of mind, that ain't my business. Should men step up and say something? 855-878-4652. Right? If you see a young kid, I find myself policing little kids on the block all the time, and they respect me because they see my son and they see where he's going in life, and they call me OG, they call me Captain, some of them even call me Pops because I be checking them. They'll be doing something stupid and I'll roll them and be like, hold on, let me holler at you. So should masculine silence, is that an issue? Should we address that? 855-878-4652. Here's a great one. Oh, God. Should African American parents give their sons, at the age of 16, a reversible vasectomy? Right?
Everyone.
Why? Right? So as to protect against the birth of illegitimate children and the repercussions for such a birth. Is this not dick management at its finest? You get your dick turned back on after you graduate college, after you've seen the world, and you have a great job. Is this such a bad idea in terms of dick management? Is this not, especially when you look at African American birth, 73% of them are to single mothers. How much of that is the daddy's fault for busting off? How much of that is the woman's fault, right, for allowing it? Eek, this is going to be tough today if you really want to get down. Should mothers and fathers manage their sons' and daughters' reproductive organs until they're able to manage their own lives? Dick management. Christ alive. Do women still need/require their men to protect and provide for them? It's the 21st century now. What is a man's real role? Has anybody ever decided to question the Bible? Because a lot of us are getting our ideas of what masculinity is, what femininity is from the Bible. To me, the Bible is like the Columbus story. We know that shit ain't real. So should we still be referring to biblical stereotypes of manhood and femininity?
Don't you blaspheme Jesus.
Don't you blaspheme Jesus, boy. Huh? Hey, I'm just asking, should we do that? Top 5 manhood myths. Myth number 1, true or false? a man is always a big, strong, fearless provider. Is that true or false? Is that a real man, a provider? Big and strong, always brave and fearless? I've got more myths, so-called myths. Myth number 2, true or false? A man's man, isn't emotional and doesn't display affection. That shit is soft. You simping. Somebody call us right now, 855-878-4652. It's about to go down. Dick management. Is masculinity out of control? Ray Rice, should you have punched her like that? Is a real man being programmed in American society to take all a woman's shit and never respond? Do we have a limitless ability, or does a real man have a limitless capacity in terms of all the shit he's supposed to take from her? 855-878-4652. With that said, people in the building, Bobby G. What's up, Bobby?
Well, we'll see what happens.
Oh, Jesus. David, say your last name again. Pizzara in the building. He brought some condoms, men's family law, the MFL. This is all the family law you need. You put this on and you straight.
And you save a ton of money not having to come see me.
How about it? Dr. Mark Goulston in the building, ready to do that circular talk he's so good at. Ask him a question, he will flip it around and ask you a question. He will never answer you, of course. But fucking Jeff Brown is in the building.
Hey, first one, that's the first thing you need to learn about arguing with a woman. When you start, the first one to answer a question loses.
Oh, Jesus.
She asks you a question, you ask her a question. You ask her a question, she asks you a question.
And look who's in the building right now.
Look at my girl.
Lord have mercy, Jesus. This little drop of caramel goodness.
It smells better in here.
Yes, it does.
Oh, my God.
Look, ambiance, she's flowing. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we want to welcome none other than actress, comedian extraordinaire, Lou Nell in the building.
I am more than happy and honored to be the token female representative here today.
And don't be afraid to cuss niggas out.
I have no problem. Or white people. I'm not scared of white people. I will cuss them out too.
Woo! So listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to field some of these questions. We're going to get into it. Because of hip-hop's hyper-masculine attitude towards the gay community and women at large, is it possible for a gay rapper or a female rapper to become the best rapper alive? We'll deal with that when we come back. So what mornings? Holla!
Merrill Lynch.
Look, I was talking with a sister one day, and she mentioned one of my ministers. And she said, you know, he was abused when he was young. I didn't say a word. But when she said that, I brought him up in my mind and I looked at him. Some of us are very authoritative because we're trying to be men because somebody did something to us. And in order to be men, when you're in a position of authority, you use it in a negative way to beat people down rather than help people up. You know people like that in the church. You raise them up and give them authority, and the next thing you know, they're hurting and harming people because they don't know how to serve. Their egos are so destroyed by the things that have happened to them in their lives. Even though they preach the word, they're sick inside. And they need a healing.
Sexual abuse of children. What's going on with men? Why do so many men rape women in our society and around the world? Why do so many men rape other men? What is going on with men? And then what is the role of the various institutions in our society that are helping to produce abusive men at pandemic rates. Because this isn't about individual perpetrators. That's a naive way to understanding what is a much deeper and more systematic social problem. You know, the perpetrators aren't these, you know, monsters who crawl out of the swamp and come into town and do their nasty business and then retreat into the darkness. That's a very naive notion, right? Perpetrators are much more normal than that and everyday than that. So the question is, what are we doing here in our society and in the world? What are the roles of the various institutions in helping to produce abusive men? What's the role of religious belief systems, the sports culture, the pornography culture, the family structure, economics and how that intersects, and race and ethnicity and how that intersects? How does all this work? And then once we start making those kind of connections and asking those important and big questions, then we can talk about how can we be transformative? In other words, how can we do something differently? How can we change the practices? How can we change the socialization of boys and the definitions of manhood that lead to these current outcomes? These are the kind of questions that we need to be asking and the kind of work that we need to be doing, but if we're endlessly focused on what women are doing and thinking.
How about it? It's a heavy topic. Yeah, we like to cut out a big slice of it. So let's just jump right in. We talked about hypermasculinity, we talked about man codes, all type of stuff. But let's start right here. Let's just get right to it. And this is a question for everyone.
Jump on.
Should a man ever hit a woman? What circumstances warrant it? Or is there no excuse ever for that to ever happen? Starting with Bobby G. Wipe your hands first. No, I'm just
And that question keeps coming back up, and in the midst of it, men and women still squabble and fight each and every day. And I think the simple answer is a man should never hit a woman unless he's struck by a woman with the intent of hurting him, and he can't get away. If you got an opportunity to walk away, by all means do so, and make every effort to distance yourself from violence. But I think it's important that women understand to never put a man in a position where he has to defend himself like that. So keep her hands to herself, and men, by all stretches of boundaries, stay away from putting your hand on women, because the moment you have to strike a woman, I haven't met a man yet that bragged about striking a woman. Not a man.
No one would ever brag about that. Right?
I knew males that, oh man, I knocked that bitch out. And I looked at them like, man, what for? What went wrong?
Right.
So something had to go
How is that
wrong.
A notch on your belt?
It's not.
Got
it really isn't.
David?
I'm going to absolutely say yes, and my prime example to this is Travis Alexander. You know, here's a guy who is in the shower, you know, one of the most vulnerable places we ever are as human beings. You know, he's naked, he's wet, and this woman comes after him with a knife, stabs him over 27 times, slits his throat, almost beheads him. That's a guy that should have hit her. I mean,
he should have whooped her ass.
She would have definitely deserved a good hitting at that point, as far as I'm concerned. You know, and to just kind of reemphasize what Bobby was saying, you know, it's a cycle. And usually, in my experience as a lawyer, what I've found is that usually men are responding to violence with greater violence. And that's the problem.
But
because when that happens...
Wait, I have to stop you. I think you're right. You're 100% right. But what happens in the social narrative, they start at the man's response.
Yes, exactly.
You know, they start with size and strength of response.
Right.
So it's almost like saying, well, you know you're bigger and stronger. You should be able to take this ass whooping. Well, just like the guy in the shower, he took a damn near a beheading.
And that's the argument, is that you should be able to take that abuse. You should be able to take a hit from a woman. And that's physically, yes, I understand. I can get hit by a woman and not have a lot of damage done to me. The question really is, should she be allowed to hit me in the first place?
Well,
that's the big question that nobody really wants to talk about, because, well, she's the more fragile flower, so we got to empower her so that she feels powerful in our society. And it's like, whoa, wait a second here. Either abuse is wrong in all situations or it's not.
Listen, you're talking like Lunel is in here. We're going to have to hear from a woman. What do you think, Lunel? Under no circumstances should a man ever hit a woman, true or false?
Well, in the words of the great rapper Sugar Free, Sugar Free says, and I quote, "I ain't never hit a woman, no, but I'll smack the shit out of a bitch while you bullshit. Now, a woman is usually not going to put herself in the position to be hit. But there are bitches out there who absolutely deserve to get the shit smacked out of them sometime. Unfortunately, they have been raised maybe in a situation where that abuse went on, so that's what they know. Women's mouth can also be so abrasive that sometimes they hit a man where they live and their only response is to smack the shit out of them. I don't think that violence on either hand is right. But there are women who beat men. Are they supposed to just take that? There's women who's bigger than their man. Are they supposed to just take that? I don't think that women should be abused, but I think that a man has a right to defend himself, whether it's physical, or maybe she did something to your mama. Maybe she called your mama a bitch. Maybe she did something to your children. So there are different circumstances and different levels on which violence may occur. I've talked gangs of shit to men all my life, but I've never been hit, and sometimes I should have been. But it has not happened because I think I have a certain swagger that says you might hit me, but you should kill me. Because if I get the fuck up, I may not win, but you'll know you've been in a fight. I've never been smacked by a man, so I don't really know what it's like or what that trajectory of thought is. But I know that sometimes there are some reasons to maybe go there or maybe been pushed there, and it's not defense.
Wow. Jeff.
This is going to sound cruel. But and I can only talk about black women because
Don't say that's all you know.
No, that ain't all I know.
I know 'cause you
That's
know.
you know me. Yeah, that's all. That's what I prefer. That's what I prefer. That's what I've always preferred. You'll just put me
Just
through
go
the
in,
fucking
Jeff.
hell.
Just say it, Jeff. Come on.
Black women outnumber black men 8.5 to 1. 8.5 to 1. Let that sink in. Okay? So if you are outside of jail, if you ain't on the down low, if you ain't living on your mama couch, why do you have to put up with that shit? It doesn't start when she jump on you. You seen that. You saw her the first time you took her to the theater. Okay? You chose that. You need to start firing these heifers fast. As soon as you see it, before it ever gets to any kind of escalation, fire them. If they put your hands on them, call the police. I have done that. These bitches will ride. They ride. You ride. Crying and all. Watch your head, bitch. You gone. You down the street. That's exactly how you do it.
Dr. G?
Is there a difference between hitting someone in self-defense versus retaliating? Is it a different kind of hitting? You know, because it sounds like what Bobby G and David was saying is, hey, look, if you're defending yourself and you're being threatened, your very life is being threatened, you resort to anything. It's your right to defend your life. But when it crosses over into retaliation, maybe that's where it gets a little bit wild. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to. Do you think there's a difference in the energy when you are hitting someone in self-defense or you're hitting out of retaliation?
You know, that's a really good point. I think we're going to have a great case of that and explore that a lot over the next month or two with the murder or the death of Mayor Daniel Crespo down in Bell Gardens, where his wife shot him 3 times in the chest.
How about it?
And they're saying, that it's self-defense. Well, that sounds to me an awful lot like we're blaming the victim here because he's the dead guy.
And you know what the real interesting thing is? If it's switched gender-wise, that man his counsel will not encourage him to go with the self-defense mode.
Oh, I would disagree with you on that one.
They wouldn't.
No,
They're going to automatically see that as OJ, Robert Blake.
I have to really strenuously disagree with you on that one. And because of my own experience, I have had men come into my office say, she is beating me with a blow dryer. And I'm like, great, let's go get a restraining order. She's abusive. And he's like, I can't. She's the mother of my kids. Dude.
It looks
I can't
wrong.
do that to her.
Right, I understand.
And I'm like, dude, you've got to stand up.
I understand, but what I'm saying is, even if he does stand up and do that, the perception, right?
Oh, the perception is he's just a pussy little fag.
Right, and then on top of that, how often do men win from that positionality? It's a hard, because stereotypically it's hard to
do it.
A man shot his wife in the chest 3 times.
Oh, he's going to jail.
Sound.
That's what he
Listen,
said.
my homeboy who produces a lot of the beats you hear playing, I hate to put
Shout out to Broadway.
I hate to put his. I wasn't gonna say his name. Thank you, Jeff.
Oh, well, we say his name all the time.
Jesus Christ! I wasn't gonna say his name on this one.
Okay.
A little bit of his, business is about to get put out. The mother of his child waited in his house in the dark. For him to get home. He got home, and she stabbed him.
Oh,
in his hand. She stabbed him through his shoe.
Oh.
Ooh.
He had.
That's why he
stitches.
be pimping like that. I thought he was just walking. I'm sorry.
But to
Sorry,
to speak to your point, he didn't press charges.
Right. Right.
To speak to your and then Lunel brought up a point that is major. The emotional and verbal abuse. It's not being tracked. Oh, you're weak if you respond to a woman who's talking to you. Just as she so eloquently broke down. A woman can rip you to pieces with her words. Because that person is close to you. You have to remember that.
I remember about 15 years ago, I was seeing this couple, and what happened is the guy was getting really kind of upset, and she was just laying into him verbally, and he gets up to leave, and she says, she looks at me, she looks at him, it's just like him. It's, he won't deal with anything. He's just running away. He can't be a man. And what was happening is he was at the doorway, and he looked at her, and you could see ice in his eyes, and he says, I'm leaving to protect you from my getting madder. And it was so penetrating. I mean, what had happened is, I need to protect you because I could kill you right now.
What did she say after that?
She got some get right in her
No.
life.
What happened is that he said it. Maybe because I was in the room and made it somewhat safe. I mean, she heard him. I mean, she quieted. I'm not saying that would have happened on the outside, but it got through to her.
So really quickly, we got to take a quick break. But before we go, are black men in America the victims of an ongoing abusive relationship with law enforcement? Are we the battered wives in our relationship with the police? We'll be back. So what mornings?
I was sent a picture from one of my friends, the God Born, of a model dude at a fashion show who was wearing a dress with a tight blazer over the dress and some sneakers with a hard face. Muscular dude. Okay? I posted the picture on Instagram, and the caption said, "You see where this Kanye shit is getting us, right? Hashtag half a fag." Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Not good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, that's not hip hop to me. You understand what I'm saying? That really has no place in hip hop. And the only reason why an individual would do something like that is purely out of ego, arrogance, and lack of knowledge of themselves. Would you like me to take you through the evolution of the bullshit of how this all started?
Please do.
All right. In hip hop, and this is according to how I see it.
Of course.
The first place where we started going wrong is when dudes started rocking earrings in both ears.
Okay.
Okay? When I was coming up, I'm 44 years old. Okay? When I was coming up, if you had an earring, you could only rock it in your left ear. That means you were straight. Right ear meant you was gay. Both ears, I guess, meant you was bi. Okay?
Right. I remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
So at some point, though, when dudes started getting money, they was having a gigantic size earring in one ear for a while, and then somebody said, you know what? I want to show them I could afford the set. I'ma just go ahead and put two in. Why can I do that? Because I got money and I don't give a fuck. You dig? That's that arrogance and ego. Boom. The next step, diamonds were a girl's best friend. Then they turned to be a man's best friend. We used to rock gold and all of that, I dig that. But all this draping yourself in diamonds and all of that, diamonds was a girl's best friend. Is that not the same?
Yeah.
So I'm just showing you how little things lead to big things.
Should you, under any circumstances, no matter how emotional the sexual encounter is you're having with your woman, should you cry?
No, neither should you moan, neither. I don't care how good it is, you better not moan.
Oh! Oh, God!
We say stuff like, woo!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Man code!
Is that a bra? What? It's just a wife beater.
Wear your pants. Why you wearing a skirt?
And these are gangsta-licious shorts for thugs. See, they got an extra flap with a pocket, so you hide what you want to hide from the police. No purse. It's a gangsta-licious.
Oh, God. Man code.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Hey.
I missed a whole generation of shit, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
When a sexual orientation can organize with the power of the most powerful lobbyist in DC, then you're going to see their agenda creep into the media. And whenever something creeps into the media, it's educational. Most people they learn how to be who they are by watching who they want to be.
You need to repeat that. You need to repeat that.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I'm
just saying, they learn who they are by watching who they want to be.
That's very wow.
Wow, that's good.
I'm just saying.
God, are you seeing anybody? Because, God damn it. You know you fuck with me every time I come in. The smartest motherfucker brother I know.
Yeah.
I appreciate
it. Thank you, baby.
it.
Thank you. No, I take second seat to Zoe.
No, but I'm saying Lord Jamal brought up some very poignant points. And what happens is when you have a homosexual agenda, nothing against homosexuality, keep it in your house.
Shout out to the fart hammers.
The fart hammers. Okay, keep it in your crib. Keep it at your house. It's okay in your house.
Do your thing.
You don't need to know what me and my woman is doing. I don't need to know what you and Charles are doing. I don't need to know, right? So keep it in your house. But when it now comes out of the house and then onto ABC, now it becomes an education thing under the guise of tolerance.
Well, a little off the subject. We're gays, but it's still in the same pool. I think what gay people want that no group has is universal acceptance. I don't give a fuck who you call yourself. I don't care what you call. It's somebody that don't like you if you can group yourself. I drive a white truck. It's people who don't like people who drive white trucks. It's so for you to expect everyone to say what you do is okay is just purely unrealistic. That's my chief issue.
Lunel, speak to my question about hypermasculinity that we talked about earlier. We phrased it earlier. Hypermasculinity, hip hop, this misogynistic over bravado that comes from, especially in hip hop. Pimps up, hoes down. Bitches ain't shit, but hoes and tricks, right? There's this mashup of women, and I'm just saying, are there so many as Corey was saying, lousy bitches? There's so many lousy bitches out there. Is it that many?
There was a lousy bitch laying up next to my truck this morning. I smacked the hell down.
No, I'm just saying, is that the thing? Talk to me.
I feel like the perception of hypermasculinity is at an all-time high, but I think there is a definite deficit in real masculinity, period. Being a woman
Speak to that.
who is out here amongst these men. Because I know what a lot of quote-unquote masculine men are not liking in the bedroom, and it's not masculine.
Go.
Say more.
I have just found in the 35 years that I've been fucking that the sex has changed.
What do you mean?
I mean that the roles have changed. I mean that there's men who like shit now in 2014 that wasn't going for any of that in 1980.
For example.
Or there's more people saying it and addressing it and wanting it than they said it and addressed it and wanted it back then. You feel where I'm coming from?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm just wondering who's going to jump in
Well,
here
I
and
need
say
to-
men are getting pegged.
Do you feel me on that? Now?
She done kicked that Bush's ass. Could
I'm
somebody
just
say
saying.
what she
Somebody
said?
would- yes.
What she's talking about is men like to get fucked. Straight men getting pegged by their girls.
With
What?
the finger, with
With
the
a strap on.
Whoa.
Okay, how old are these dudes?
Okay, would you have ever expected Hank Basket to be caught with a drag queen? Would you ever expected Eddie to be out here on this very street at 5 o'clock in the morning with a tranny in his car? I'm just saying.
Okay.
And you know, Eddie, you know I love you.
You know, it's too late now.
It's
Shit.
too late. You can't put that shit back in that horse. You
This is public record. I didn't make this shit up.
Right. This ain't a myth.
I didn't.
Right. You didn't make this ain't your
You
expose.
saying Eddie liked to be cornholed.
I'm just saying he liked maybe sometime to keep the company of certain type of folk that people would not believe. Maybe.
Lord have mercy.
Maybe.
Go ahead, Bobby. Shit.
No,
This thing done turned.
I just need somebody to help me. I want to stay exactly where I am, but I do need to catch up. Cause it's been some things going on that y'all telling me about that.
Like you've been in cryogenic stasis.
Buddies are guilty of it as well.
This is Demolition Man right here.
They didn't tell me about it.
They're
That's
not
a damn
gonna tell
shame.
you.
Yeah.
That's where the whole download thing comes in.
Oh my God.
I've got to completely agree with Linnell because I got to tell you, I've had many men in my office who are telling me their deep, dark, dirty secrets, and they're like, "Is that going to come out in my divorce? Is that going to like affect my child custody?" And I'm like, "Dude,
Yeah, fruit basket. Of course.
I've heard all
sorry.
kinds of things from all kinds of men about what they really like, and there's a lot going on."
There's a lot going on.
Bobby's confused. Speak to your confusion.
Well, a song keeps just playing in my head, and I'm glad it's still there. I went from cowboys to girls.
Cowboys
to girls.
And I never made it out of there. I just ain't left there yet because there's enough thrills to last the rest of my
Oh my
lifetime.
God.
Yeah.
Right
like-
between that spot, you know.
Yeah,
so this is really vexing to me that it's no longer just a little section of folks that's doing this. You're suggesting or saying that there's a large population of males that are getting down.
experimenting.
Like that.
And as far as you were saying in rap, because my question is, have there? I mean, okay, I have hosted a event in Miami for the last 4 years called Miami Sizzle. Miami Sizzle is the largest African American gay gathering in the United States of America. Now they're going to do one in Europe. There are 3 hotels, Hiltons, full of nothing but fit, wealthy, gay, black men. For me, it is sad, it's disgusting, it's heartbreaking that there are all these men lying on the beach, cavorting with each other, out and happy, and I'm like, none of these men like women. So my question is this new freedom, or have there always been this many undercover man-liking men, guys, even from the 50s and 60s, and they just, I don't know what's going on with
So
that.
you're saying men were waiting for the time to change?
I'm wondering.
For them to double dutch into butt folly.
Has the time changed?
No,
or has the
I
men
can't.
changed? I don't know.
Okay.
To the butt dance. Like,
Can I
let me
say
double.
this?
Oh, it's
Can I-
time.
can I-
Jump
can I
in.
say-
no,
can I say this?
hell
It's really interesting to me that you focus on the butt sex and the cornholing because it's a really interesting perception of what gay men are on the one hand.
Oh, they don't
on
do
the
that?
other,
It's a group that don't fuck each other?
But that's one of the
yes,
male.
There
That's
are actually.
listen.
If
That's
you want
one
to
of,
hear something, the truth is yes, it's actually not a primary activity. Secondarily, if you look at the feminization of the gay man and how you're picking on him for that, that's exactly what we're doing with straight men and domestic violence in these cases.
Right.
As soon as a man starts defending himself, oh, gotta be gay. Well, look, hey,
But
imagine that.
Okay, wait a minute.
If his ass never got touched and he only likes his dick sucked, Is that a different degree of gayness?
That's gay.
Yeah. Okay, let me put it to you
That's
this
just
way.
gay.
That's gay, but it's an okay gay.
Okay. Is it all right
Ain't
if
no
I
okay
let
gay
me
for
set
me.
the let me set the overtly heterosexual male parameters. In the words of the late James Hanna, if you do something that forces or makes another man come, that's gay. Okay, I'm not talking about
what a man who showed another man a porn magazine with women in it, and you guys.
If y'all in the room together, that's gay. Okay,
we had an experience.
You have one orgasm. You have one orgasm that involves a man. You over on the pink side of the force forever. There's no bisexual men. Not on even play.
Please
that
go
shit.
to commercial. I can't take no more.
We'll be back at
Y'all done
2.2.
left me in the stone.
I'm about to talk to you.
Bye.
Oh my God, how he has a rap career is beyond me. I don't get it. And he takes his shirt off. Oh my God, he looks like 50 pounds of chewed Tootsie Rolls with his.
All right. Now, you are in white fashion. You know white boys always leave the house like they finna help somebody move.
Enlist and defend the horrible hoes. There are some horrible people. And what you need to do is start policing your own. Okay, I was gonna go this way with the rant, which is about older men over 40. Stop trying to act like men under 40. That's some new shit, okay? Turn up. If you say the word turn up, if you use the phrase turn up and you are over 40 and you ain't talking about the heat or what go in greens, fuck you, okay? Stop trying to act like dudes younger than you. That's some bullshit. My father and them didn't want shit to do with us unless they was giving us advice or smacking the shit out of us. Number 2, pretty please with sugar on top. Gay men who are watching this, stop thinking that all men are either gay or in denial because they find what you do repulsive. I am not homophobic. Let's define phobic. Phobic means fear. I'm scared of spiders on the real. I really don't like them, but I can't let my kids see that. I got to go and stomp them in front of my kids, but I don't like them. I'm scared of dying in a plane crash because I fly on planes so much. I am afraid of dying before I can impart all my wisdom to my children. I am not afraid of dudes in Daisy Dukes with their shorts, with their shirts tied together in a knot with clogs on going down Venice Beach. I don't know, whatever. Here's my point. I do not find, just because what I find, what you do repulses me, does not make me hate you. It doesn't mean I hate you. I just don't understand you, and I don't dig what you do. You can raise kids. You can vote. You can teach my kids. You can get married. I don't know why you want to get married, because that's like me wanting to join the Klan. That's a group of people that don't want you. Look in that book. Look in that book. God is not very specific about what color you ought to drive, but what color car? Oh yeah, we will. What color car you ought to drive? But He's really clear about homosexuality. You can be together forever. But pretty please, stop force feeding me what you do. That's your fucking business. I'm done.
Wow, he ran it off. Listen, we have a special guest. We had to bring him back
So much.
after last week's tough conversation. Author of How to Manage Your Dick, Sean O'Reilly is back in the building. We wanted to give him another opportunity. The book is incredible. I hear that Sean has sent us a box of his books to give away to our listeners.
I got a fire.
The book is called How to
true.
Manage.
I got a fireplace.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah.
The book is
All right,
called How
great.
to Manage Your Dick, Redirect Sexual Energy, and Discover Your More Spiritually Enlightened, Evolved Self.
I'm looking around this table and I see some skeptical faces.
Yes.
That's because of that shit you said last week.
That's okay.
Have you been able to listen in on what we've been talking about so far?
I have.
Can you?
And it's very interesting. Go ahead.
Can you offer us some insights on how masculinity is misunderstood, how maybe masculinity can be redefined or repurposed moving forward in today's 21st century? Talk to us about it, Sean.
All right, I'll try to make it as basic as I can, because it's a complicated subject. But basically, your brain is a filter for your dick.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
If you don't filter the energy that comes from your privates through your mind, through your intellect, you're going to have some problems. I liken the brain to a transformer. The transformer steps down energy. It takes that 220 volts and will step it down to 110 volts or whatever the voltage is needed. So one thing that men have to do, absolutely have to do, Linda and I were talking about this earlier today, 90% of the world's problems are caused by men in terms of violence. men fuck everything up. They really do. Now, that being said, men also create a great deal of stuff and they do a lot of good. But the fact of the matter is the primary difference between men and women, and this is where I was going with this yesterday, is testosterone. Testosterone is one of the primary physical differences between men and women. So guess what? All of you guys out there have to deal with testosterone. You have to do it. When women are given injections of testosterone, they say they can't stop thinking about sex. So I guess the question, everybody knows that they have to edit their appetites, they have to edit their sexual energy in some way. Otherwise, how do you stop yourself from eyeing the 14-year-old girl next door?
Wow. So let me ask you this. Just in your opinion, because I know you wrote this book, I read this book, I made my 15-year-old son, well, he was 15 then.
At that point.
Now he'll be 18 in a month. But I made him read this book as a freshman in high school. He's now a senior. My question to you is, would you say the masses of men are running around, right, with maybe no filter or maybe inadequate filters? Because all men think they have some kind of man code, right?
Dick is a general manager.
The dick is the general manager of their
Fire
lives.
that dude.
Speak to that, Sean.
Well, what I would say is that the non-dick manager is the biggest problem in America. I call them NDMs. So anytime you see people, engaged in violence, graffiti, all this kind of shit, just think NDM, non-dick manager, because most people who manage their dicks, or who make the effort to control themselves to some degree, are going to be able to control themselves in other ways.
Okay, wait, Sean. Let me stop you really quickly.
Yep.
You had me until you said graffiti, and I'll tell you why.
Graffiti?
Graffiti's art.
Yeah.
It's art.
Yeah.
Sometimes. No, it's always art. It's not
Yeah,
sometimes.
except if you're putting graffiti on your neighbor's door.
It's always art. But see, that's not graffiti.
That's
so
not
we have
graffiti.
to be. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes there's a cultural disconnect. If you really understand graffiti, you understand graffiti as an art form. When you're talking about just writing on the wall, blood, West Side Crip, or
Right, that's what I'm talking
You
about.
cheating bastard down the side of somebody's car.
Yeah, that's not
no.
graffiti. So we have. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes there's a cultural disconnect, and we need more context when we say certain things.
Doc, you said something that is very, very poignant, which is if you can control yourself with your penis with regard to sex, you can control yourself in other areas, which leads to advice I give to young dudes: jack off before you go out on a date. So you relaxed. Her weapon don't work against you. You can make better decisions.
I've already squeezed off. Your powers are moved.
That's it. You can't bring sex to me. You got to bring all the other shit that count now, because I don't need sex. I need a nap.
Sean mentioned something.
Except one thing. There's a real long tradition in the West, both in the West and the East, about sublimating sexual energy. Even Freud said that civilization was built on sublimation, which means, and sublimation includes some aspect of not masturbating, of not beating off, of managing that, because it's like you have to look at it and say, how many times is good, how many times is bad? Is there excess? Is there an excess of that, or
just till
is
you
there
need
a
a nap?
deficiency of it? It's not quite so simple as to say you can beat off anytime you want, because unfortunately what that leads to is lack of control, or it can lead to lack of control as opposed to having control.
Sean, this is the other doc in the room. When I was in India,
Way to toss your little weight around. I like that, doc. And this is the other doc.
This isn't any of the other town fools.
Yes. This is the professional voice in the room.
You know,
well,
learned man to learned man.
Yes, a man of letters.
I'm going to go back to my. I'm going to go back to my corner and pout so I can feel like I'm at home.
Go ahead. Wow! Boots. Go ahead, Dr. G.
When I was in India, some of the things that the Indians asked me, they were saying, you know, Americans seem to be addicted to more, and they hate rules. So why are they so much more unhappy than we are? You know, we are so happy with less, and we don't see the rules. We see them as traditions, but it's anti-American to filter. It's anti-American to repress anything. It's anti-American to not give in to your impulses. If that's all, and anti-American to obey rules, then why are you all so frickin' unhappy compared to us? And if you've been to India, it's amazing how poor and how happy the people are.
Right. No, that's a great point.
They just don't know what they're missing.
That's a great point, Bobby.
Yeah, I had a quick question.
Yeah, nigga. Bobby. Yeah.
How important is it to have a purpose that doesn't force you to suppress your natural desires, but drives you to be able to control your desires?
Wow. God damn, Bobby. That motherfucker good.
Is he still on?
You think he just here because he our uncle?
Yeah, he's talking to you, Sean. He's talking to you, Sean.
Yeah.
All right. Well, two things. I can answer both the issues that were raised, I think. One, as far as control goes and having a purpose, obviously you have to have energy to have a purpose. And you'll find that there are some people. I remember a gay guy telling me many years ago, and this was one of the things that started me on writing the book. He said, I have had so much sex that I don't feel like eating. And what he meant was that basically you really can have too much sex. You can have it so much so that you don't have enough energy for anything else. So part of having a purpose is being able to manage that energy. The guy, who's the guy, the white guy across the way there, was talking about India. He was saying that
the other learned man, the doctor.
The other man of letters.
I've gone back to pouting, so you're on your own.
He was saying how happy the people are over there with less, and you know there's an element of real truth in that, because we just don't accept any self-regulation in America. Americans have a hard time saying no to anything, whereas oftentimes people in the third world completely get it. I mean, they really get it that you got to exercise some kind of self-control. You know?
They don't see no as the enemy in the third world. They see it as a reality, and they work around it, they work with it, but they don't see it as something. Americans can't take no for an answer.
Wow. So listen, we got to take a quick break. But before we go to break, I have a book for you to read about redirecting your sexual energy. Book I read many years ago. Great book. Talks about this little area in between your scrotum and your butthole.
The taint?
The taint. Where you can manipulate ejaculating so you can withhold it. It's called the Tao of Sexology, the book of infinite wisdom. And it talks about how not giving up your chi by bussing off indiscriminately. This is what we talk about, controlling that masculine energy, that power. The Taoist monks did it. The Tao of Sexology, the book of infinite wisdom by Dr. Stephen T. Chang. I got books, bitches! We'll be back in a minute. Holla!
Tell me about Dream Defenders.
Dream Defenders came out of the realization, as the senator said, and other people in this audience know, that the people that are murdering the people in our communities are very organized. And so if you're going to mount ample resistance to those forces, then you must be organized. And so we started Dream Defenders with that in mind, knowing that it wasn't just about Trayvon Martin, but it's about a system of police repression, police harassment, racial profiling. We've got a school-to-prison pipeline. We've got a war on drugs that's been afflicting, dividing, and killing our communities since it started. We've got a war on the poor. We've got a war on immigrant communities, and if you're going to mount a fight against a system that is for 400 years perfected the method of repression of people that look like me, look like us, then you've got to have an organized force to fight against that. So we started in Florida with that in mind.
Do you see what Senator McCaskill talks about, the elective office as one way? Because you just bit off a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, I think we the people to do it. I'm hungry. And I think, you know, I think running for office is good, but one of the last things that Dr. King said before he died was that he feared that he had brought us into a burning building. And so if you're getting people elected into a system that by its very nature was meant to cannibalize and kill communities, then you've only done half of the job. And so I think it's a yes and. We need people that look like us, but black officers. I've had interactions with black officers that were way worse than white officers. And so it's not a matter of just having a representative that's on the city council or in the mayor's office or in the police force that looks like you. They've got to come from the community, know the issues of the community, and then it's folks in the community that got to remind them every day that we pay your bills. And we're watching every single day to ensure that the platform on which we elected you with is followed, and also defend you when those people that seek to calibrate the system and write the system as it's been built seek to come at you for that office.
Now here's the thing, Philip. Everybody doesn't agree with you. Everybody doesn't see the root of the problem. Ross Kaminsky is one of them. Ross Kaminsky writes for American Spectator, and he thinks, in fact, that a lot of folks should be looking at themselves in the mirror.
I want to be really clear on this because I agree with what the mayor of Ferguson said, that, you know, middle-class white guys like me haven't lived the African-American life. That said, from what we see on the news, from what we read, there seems to be a real dearth of leadership among African-American young men, especially in their neighborhoods. And the other thing is, if I could react to what Philip said, I get the feeling, I understand this feeling of you know, the system isn't fair. It's biased against us. But then
So I always say that there's a cultural disconnect, right? And so Ferguson is a good example,
designed to keep it.
Right? It's a good example of how this cultural disconnect still exists. This is why I get so heated with the well-to-do blacks. Because I always say, if you're not in, first off, if you're not in control of your own community, when I say control, I mean if you don't own your schools, if you don't teach your kids. First off, if you're not teaching your kids, you're not raising men. How about that? If you are not teaching your own kids, you're not raising men. When Jewish boys go to Jewish schools and are taught by Jewish teachers, they are being raised as Jewish men. When African Americans go to white schools
and being taught by
white teachers, they're not, what you're raising is a social automaton, a social robot. And when you step out of line, you get checked. Manhood, real manhood, determines his own course. Success or fail, it's by his own hand. So now when we judge each other based on a system or based on a benchmark that wasn't created by us, right? All we're trying to do is get in alignment with the power structure. And so I always get on them for that. Bobby and then Lunell. And then Dr. G got some shit. I saw you. I saw you. Go ahead, Bobby.
Within this construct of the subject matter, dick management, I was just sitting here thinking in terms of how we evolved from boys to men and how the thought process should evolve also. Because sitting here at 60 years old, dick management is not the challenge that it was at 20 years old. Unless I go
seen
for
you,
the...
Bobby. I seen you in the club. Yes, it is.
Yeah, and that's right.
Don't get it twisted, young girls.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted.
Okay.
Uncle Bobby will tear your ass up, young ladies.
Put
a foot on a rock, right?
But I won't rush to that, though. I'll have fun. I'll flirt. But then I have to ask myself at the end of the night, where's this going? All right. Or did I just come out to have a good time? 'Cause I love to have a good time.
Yeah.
But am I chasing women all the rest of the week? No. I'm back on my grind.
Yeah.
Doing
Bobby
what
will
I came
call you
here
at
to
5 in
do.
the morning.
'Cause I'm up.
What's happening, Zoe? What we got?
It's time to go to work.
Yeah, you need to get on out of bed with your young ass.
Right.
The point being, as we evolve, not just as black men, but as men in general, I'm gonna refer back to one of the most important books I ever read, which was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He said, by the time you turn 45, that drive you have for sex should be moving towards your legacy, your purpose. And that's why a purpose-driven life is essential if you're evolving, if you're growing, if you're moving along that continuing of life.
And you know what? Maybe that's one of the things we need to recontextualize. Instead of waiting until 45, maybe we should push that up earlier.
No,
when
it's
you're
actually
16,
got pushed the other direction due to these this chemistry game they playing now with Viagra and all that. You got these grown-ass men having a sucking childhood.
Dr. G and then Lunel.
How much is hypersexuality, not just healthy, normal sexuality, how much do you think hypersexuality is an expression of power or a reaction to not having power? Because something in the introduction to my little toolbox thing is I had a midlife crisis where I got a motorcycle, and I got a motorcycle because I felt like I was spinning my wheels in life. I didn't feel like I had any traction, and when I could just go like this with the motorcycle and feel the road, I felt more effectiveness. And what happened is, as I started to get more traction in life, meaning it looked like I was more effective, I could get stuff done, I didn't have the need for the motorcycle anymore.
What kind of bike?
So it's Honda racing bike. But I wonder how much of hypersexuality is a reaction to people spinning their wheels, and just as opposed to an expression of their power, it might be an expression of their frustration with their life. I'm talking about hypersexuality. I'm not talking about normal sexuality, and because I think the more people feel effective, like they're getting traction from the world, that they're making a difference.
Well, an orgasm is the greatest sense of freedom. It's the one thing the wealthy man and the exceedingly poor man share
in common.
When I bust off,
and they can do
I'm
it
free of all of my problems and struggles. The only problem is that shit is a second. It only lasts a second. Imagine if the bus off lasted 2 days. You know how many? It would be worse than Oxycontin. It would be worse than heroin. People would stay in bus off world.
You're right, but here's the thing. I think a lot of us end up getting hooked into the chase of that, becomes almost as good as that. And that might be what you're speaking to. And that is, I see a lot of guys who, they let sex and following strippers and the chase become the most important thing in their life, to the detriment of everything else that's going on, because they do feel so powerless in other areas of their world.
But this comes back to my point. When I hear people say, thank God you're awake today. Thank God you have another day. And I say, well, what if you're living a very miserable life? Should you thank God for that?
Especially when he got this paradise waiting on the other side.
Like, people don't understand. Like, sometimes, if you're living a mediocre life and you know it. See, it's one thing to live a mediocre life and you have no idea that you're living a mediocre life. But if you're living a mediocre life and you're aware of it and you want better and you can't get out of it, every day you wake up is torture.
This is some bullshit.
A lot of people don't. And there are a lot of men who live in that space. First off, manhood is too sociologically driven, and I'm speaking in terms of the definition of what a man is. So this is why traditionally men haven't lived as long as women, because the pressure of just being a provider, being a protector, manhood is actually more than that, much more. But those are the things that are accentuated in a society, in a culture that gets its starting point for manhood from an archaic belief system, i.e. the Bible.
Keep you scared, keep you working.
Do you see what I'm saying? Most men will devalue themselves if they can't put a sandwich on the table for their child. Let's think about that. Let's go deeper. We'll be back in 2.2 Zoe What Mornings.
You the other girl, you the mama. So, at least I'm a girl. At least I'm a girl. And I'm not daddy. I'm grown. I'm not daddy. I'm grown. obsessed you're making them.
New study out today that says women become unhappy as they get older. Well, the flip side, men get happier as life goes on. Now, the researchers, a couple of economists, by the way, they say it happens when we each turn 48. And of the major factors coming down, it's all about money. Now, what's that all about? We're going to debate it. Mark Rudolph is a no-nonsense man, and Tracy Burns, our Fox Business reporter, joins me to tell us what's really going on. Tracy, is this true?
Come on.
I mean, come on.
All right, first of all,
Don't get me
Mark,
started.
'cause I know you've missed me, Mark. First of all, this study was conducted by mostly men. And when men conduct anything, they talk about their finances because men judge themselves by the size of their wallet, toys, dare I say.
Well, first of all, you're presuming that that unhappiness in women begins in middle age. I'd say it starts when she's a little girl, when she's taught that happiness derives from shoes, jewelry, boob jobs, and pedestals. And what's interesting, oh, come on, Alexis, and then you have boys who are taught that they're supposed to make girls happy. I was on the radio 2 weeks ago in Greensboro, North Carolina, and the host related a story. He overheard his son and daughter talking. So brother goes to sister and says, "How come you always have money and I don't?" And she says, "That's simple. I have a boyfriend and you have a girlfriend." What's happening in middle age here is that women who bring 70% of divorces are divorcing the men that they never wanted to marry to begin with, and so now that's what's making the men happy.
That's interesting because we control the household spending, don't we? Because we're working more than ever. All right, let's get back to the survey, though, all right? Because basically what they're saying is that we are happier in our early adult life and that women are more likely than men to fulfill their aspirations earlier related to material goods and family. That is true, wouldn't you say, Tracy? And a good thing. It takes men longer to figure out what they want to do in life.
Well, I just think this whole notion of basing your happiness on material goods is part of the problem, hence part of the reason that this thing was run by men in the first place. If there were women on the panel,
Tracy.
If there were women on the panel, they would, I mean, ask any woman if she would choose her car over her children, and she'd take the kids any day, whereas I would question a lot of men out there, quite frankly.
Tracy, I can't believe what I just heard you say.
There's a reason that women live longer, Mark. Let me tell you. It is because we are stronger and we are happier at the end of the day than most men, and that is factual, and you know it.
Mark, wait a second. The stature of a lot of men is measured in the car they drive, the golf country club they belong to, and very much the place they live in. You have to admit that.
And whether or not their wives are staying at home and not working. That's exactly what I said at the beginning. That's because men are taught that men are taught that they have to make women happy. The fact of the matter is, you can't make anybody happy. You have to make yourself happy. Happiness is a byproduct of achievement. So for women to say that they're unhappy, it's their own fault. Anybody who says he's unhappy, it's his own fault. Everybody has to make himself or herself happy.
Uppercut, body blow,
Jesus.
body blow.
I think he took off from the free throw line with a blindfold on and just tore the rim down.
Body blow.
Dr. G, what did you think of what he was saying?
I was texting and pouting. What did you think? Tee me up.
You were texting and pouting. Is that a violation of the man code?
Yeah.
Pouting. There is no pouting in
There's
manhood.
no pouting there's no crying in baseball.
Right. What?
That's TMP. Now, what did you think about what he said? And then I'll react to what you said.
I know. It's that circular.
He told you, he hit you with the circle shit.
Right, he does. But it's great. But let me just say this. I've always said women are more sociologically driven, right? Men are more physiologically driven. We do shit to get ass.
That's it.
We get the good education, we get the good job, we get the good clothes, we get the independence, because we know ultimately that's going to lead to touchdowns in women. That's basically how men get down. Just to, that's how we get down.
Funky, eating off the ground.
Right.
If it wasn't for women.
If women change the rules, right? You can be poor, you can be dirty, you can be whatever, unkept, whatever, and you still got an opportunity. Men would take that.
They have.
But a lot of times what men do in society is to accumulate, because that's the one thing homeboy left out, or I think it was the woman, or no, it was the guy. We do all of that so we can purchase a type of woman.
Yes.
Because we understand if we have the resources, she's for sale to a certain degree.
Absolutely.
Right? We understand that, right? That's why there's a different caliber of women for the millionaire basketball baller guys.
Dimes.
And a different caliber of women for the regular guy who has maybe an executive or something.
Two nickels.
And even that guy now is starting to say, hey, bitch, I am. No, but he's starting to say, I'm rare. Take a number. Fuck what you going through. So when we talk about happiness in relationship, what I'm starting to find is women are so locked into their idea of what he's supposed to be and trying to get him to fit that she never really interfaces with who he really is. And this is why ultimately she's disappointed at the end of the day. So when he says happiness starts, or unhappiness for a woman starts in childhood, I believe that because they're in pursuit of a concept, of an idea. We call it the fantasy. Prince Charming, that dude who's gonna line up with exactly what the fuck you think. And I always tell women, don't date an idea. If you wanna make God laugh, show him your plans, especially when it pertains to relationship. Lunel?
You know, and there's so many, like I said, there's so many things to comment on. I have comments about the Bible thing, is it outdated, all this kind of stuff. But I just want to say this, and I don't know where this is at. But in my house, in my world, amongst my family, amongst my friends, I'm a very happy person. The minute I step outside my house or turn on the television, it's so sad. Because I know couples deep in Arkansas, both of them are what by television standards would be called like ugly or disgusting. Happy as a motherfucking lamb. He's got this snagger-tooth bitch that he would never cheat on ever. She's got this little overweight guy. They fucking love each other. They don't know who Kim Kardashian is. They don't know. Right. They don't give a fuck. And they're happy. And I have lived in a world in my age where when I lived in Oakland, California, home of the Black Panthers and all this kind of stuff, I remember when an African-American woman with a nappy black afro, nappy being the descriptive word that a lot of people use,
speak on it,
was the most sought after, exotic, sexual woman on the planet Earth, and everybody desired her. And I've lived long enough to see a black woman become the gum on the bottom of a black man's shoe, where they want everything else except for a black woman. That shit hurts, including a man.
Say more, say more.
That shit hurts. And to be programmed from the time your child is young and acting like that little motherfucker right there, and now you got, they don't want monkey bars on the schoolyard. They don't want jungle gym. You can't whip your child. You can't discipline like this. You can't talk to him verbally. That motherfucker need to be strangulated till he's within an inch of his fucking breath, and he gets some fucking get right. These motherfucking men are looking at videos. They get entranced by the white girl's hair blowing in the wind, so they don't no longer want the sapphire over here. They want what the bitch on the motorcycle looks like. Hence your midlife crisis. They motherfucking want these video bitches, so they don't marry who makes them happy. Maybe the fat bitch on the corner would have saved you $150,000, 6 cars and 4 houses, if you'd have went with the bitch that thought you were the shit from the moment she first saw you. Hold on, I didn't ask. Okay, because you want this trajectory of what this dime. What makes this bitch with the thin waist a dime and the bitch down the street not a dime? What is a fucking dime?
I will tell you what a dime is.
Well, wait.
You were just talking about me directly and bringing up my direct past with me sitting right next to you, but you ain't talking to me? I think you are talking to me.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, Jeff.
What?
You're a puffer fish right now. You're blowing up.
Well,
take it easy.
I tell you what. Why not put your drawers out here?
Well, he put his out there, so that's what we do.
Who you talking about? You was just talking about me.
No, but he was just talking about him. He got stuck in the fucking foot. Okay, and all that shit.
Oh, not him.
But he ain't here.
He ain't here.
Broadway ain't here. I'm sitting here.
You gonna keep saying his name?
I'm sitting here. You hit the ball over the fence at me. If you hit a ball at me, you can bet your sweet ass I'm gonna hit it back. And unless somebody come in here with a taser or somebody can whoop my ass coming here, I'm finna say this right here. Here's what makes a dime. A person, a female who, no, yes you are. A person, a female, my chick at the house. My chick bad.
I am, if that's what it's gonna be.
Absolutely.
Okay. Wait. No, because that I wasn't finished.
Let her finish, Jeff.
You didn't have to take it so personal. I was just saying.
Okay, you was just talking about me.
I used you personally because
let her
Are you serious?
But are you sensitive or something?
Linnell, you are a friend of mine. Linnell's a
I was
friend of
just
mine.
using you as an example because you shared what you shared with me. I wasn't throwing you under the bus. I was just saying if you had chose a better girl, just like a lot of these guys had chose better women, they wouldn't be in the financial ruin that they are in now because you would have had somebody who had your back instead of somebody that your friends thought would look good with you.
So Linnell, you saying it's a selection process on the man's part.
And the women's, The women are, you know, what's the name? Lozado married motherfucking, what's his name? Ocho Cinco, knowing he was an asshole. Then he was an asshole to her, then she was surprised. Bitch, you knew this motherfucker was an asshole. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm talking about. And I'm done. No, I'm done now. I'm done. That's all I'm saying.
No, okay. This is something that bothers me with female conversation. You guys bring up a lot.
But there's only one in here.
A lot of heavy.
I'm like, oh,
well,
you know.
this is who I'm having a conversation with. My turn. You bring up a lot of heavy questions.
There you go. That was petty.
Heavy
That was petty.
rhetorical questions that you don't want answered. You
just answer it, Jeff.
Okay, what is a dime to me?
To anybody, not just you.
Oh, well, I can't. In the words of Uncle Bobby.
The question wasn't directed towards
wow,
you.
I'm gonna try one more time, and then I'm
Just
gonna keep
do
it to
it.
myself.
Do it, damn it.
In the words of Uncle Bobby, I can't speak for everybody. For me, a dime is an individual who does and says and acts in where everything reflects a respect of herself. Everything she eats, everything she wears, everything she says,
Sounds
walks,
nice.
talks. No, it's at the house. And I couldn't get there. I could not get there until I told myself that I would not accept anything less than what I deserved.
So you became a dime.
I became a dime. Thank you very
Through a
much.
process,
I became a dime through a process. Through a process, absolutely. Now there was a fat broad involved, so the concept of Jeff, you thought she was since she was okay.
Okay. A little marriage counseling here between the two of you. You know, Linnell.
Marriage counseling between Jeff and Linnell. I love it.
I got a question for Linnell. Linnell, when you were talking, you kind of commanded and demanded we listen to you, and as soon as Jeff started talking, you blew him off.
Make me hug you, dude.
You blew him off.
Wow,
I mean,
really?
Yes, really.
No,
Give her the microphone.
No.
Watch the tape. Really.
Give her your microphone, Jeff.
No, I'm bringing it up. No, Linnell, it's not about you. It's about the nature of relations between men and women. Women will talk as if they expect the man to listen fully, conform themselves, and smile because what the woman is telling us is for our own good. And then if we come back in any sort of way, they blow us off. So it's very common.
See, that's what y'all.
So,
Woman
hey, this and let me just say,
I just learned a major thing.
Yes, this is why we do this show. This is exact. Every time we do a topic, there's some moment in the show where the show is encapsulated. The idea, the concept of the show
comes right back.
Comes right back.
That was it.
And this is why I did this show. I'm so appreciative of y'all getting into it. Y'all powerful for me right now. So listen, we're about to take a quick break.
Hurry.
When we come back, we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna do it right.
Woo! We've experienced.
Wow. That's all I can say is wow. Again, this show is never designed to answer all of your questions. But if we don't have this continuous dialogue, this probing, this objective inquiry into what's wrong with our society, what's wrong with our culture, we're going to keep reliving problems. We're going to keep modeling possibilities of failure as opposed to modeling possibilities of success. You got to question the model. You've got to question the template. You've got to weatherproof it. You got to walk around your ideological thought process and go, how is this thought serving me? How is this thought going to raise me to my highest potentiality? You have to look at the infrastructure of it. Where did it come from? Did it come from my mom? Did it come from my dad? Did it come from the absence of either or? Did it come from abuse? Did it come from religion? Where did it come from? it's important that you do that. And if you don't do that, you won't be able to see outside of your intellectual, ideological aquarium. You'll just be inside your little bubble thinking what you think is true. So with that said, last week I said, MAN, acronym, manifest answers now. I'm gonna hit you with another one, woman. Are you ready for this? And we put this together today because I wanted women to understand how integral they are to what we do and to our success. Woman, willing to, right? You have to be willing to help manifest your man's answers, your opposite's answers. Willing to manifest your opposite's answers. Who is your opposite? Man. A woman must be willing to manifest his answers as well. How does she do that? I use the battery metaphor. When you have the battery, the positive side is the masculine side. The negative side is the feminine side. All of the power in the battery comes from the feminine. All the masculine side does is direct it. So if you have a woman behind you that's willing to help you manifest answers, right? But she can't help you manifest answers until you fuck the shit out of your purpose. That's what draws her to you. That's how she will then respect you, because you have a purpose that you're fucking the shit out of. And it makes her envious. I want him to fuck me the way he's fucked his purpose. Right? Do you understand what I'm saying? And until a man is able to do that, right, she's not really going to respect you. This is how you attract women who want to take care of you as opposed to one that wants to lift you up. See, sometimes women will just nurture and mama, right? So this dude is down on his luck. He's this, he's that, and I want to help him, but not from a space of I want to help build him. I want to nurture him for whatever insecurities or weaknesses she may have. And then that becomes a dependent, toxic relationship. Do you understand? Willing to help your opposite manifest answers. When a woman believes in a man, he tends to rise.
And then leave and go get a white guy.
Well, no, not necessarily. And I have to say this to my men, to my brothers out there. Any male that serves the cause of anyone that seeks to oppress, limit, govern, or abuse you, you render yourself by participation a boy, a pseudo-man. It's too many brothers out there towing the line, going along to get along, not willing to rock the boat. Masculinity, by definition, rocks the boat. I'm gonna learn what I need to learn, and then I'm gonna go do me. If you're afraid to speak up on injustice, you're a boy, not a man. If you're afraid to lose your job, if you're afraid to lose that pension in the face of something that is wrong, that is unjust, you are a child. You cannot call yourself a man. And as long as you're in this space, women will be attracted to you from all walks of life, whether you're married or not. Your purpose is the reason you are called man. It's the reason she finds you attractive. If you don't have a purpose, you don't deserve a woman. And if you do have a purpose and you haven't mastered that purpose, you don't deserve a woman. She will help you get where you need to go if you're totally invested in the purpose. If you just about her pussy, her time, her intimacy, that's going to get old fast. But if she finds you attractive because your purpose is bigger than your circumstances, your purpose is bigger than the weakness of the community or the household you came from, now she has something to believe in. And remember, all thought is creative, right? So if she's believing negatively about you, now the relationship breaks down. Now, to wrap this up, when you are in your purpose, When you are 100% connected to who and what you are, there's no need for trust in your relationship. See, you trust in things that aren't self-evident. That's why you say, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you now. I don't know 100% if you're going to be able to come through, but you know what? I'm close enough now to think I can trust you. It's not self-evident. But when you are living the truth is self-evident. Most men are liars, and we lie through bravado and behavior. Right? Most men can't articulate what they need to say to a woman. So what do? I'm going to use my behavior to articulate what I want to say. But I never articulate my intention. Right? I'm going to do what is required to get to the touchdown. The touchdown in my mind is that little momentary second of escape. That's for most men. Exceptional men don't do that. Woman, willing to help your opposite manifest answers. Get in alignment with that, and we'll see what happens next in your relationships. I'm Zoe Williams, and that's my final thought. Ladies and gentlemen, it's what we do. Let me go around the table real quickly. Bobby G, where can they find you? Social media, talk to us.
At Glanton Smith. Get a copy of my book, Real Men Don't Play, at Amazon.com.
David, holla at us.
Hey, you can get my stuff at mensfamilylaw.com. You want to learn more about me, watch some videos, listen to some podcasts, and buy my books.
David's Cole, man. David's Cole. You got to support his work. Dr. G.
Look up Tough Talks Made Easy, Goulston, because you helped me set a world's record. I had a webinar with 9,200 people on last.
Wow. Jeff Brown.
At GB Funny Style is my Twitter and my Instagram. Go to iTunes, get Jeff Brown Warren ass shit, and get you some ringtones.
And the lovely and intelligent and fiery Lunell.
Instagram and Twitter at Lunell, at LUENELL. And my website is heylunell.com, HEYLUENELL.com. Catch me in Vegas at the Venetian with Wendy Williams, Halloween and the next day. Catch me in San Francisco with Dick Gregory and Paul Mooney at the San Francisco Palace of Fine Arts. Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco, October 21st. And that's it. Back this up.
Hey, I love you guys to death. Sean O'Reilly, thank you, man. Thank you for coming back on. Thank you for the books. Daryl Mooney, we were trying to get him on. Man, I apologize. Let me just say this. I am Zoe Williams. Only 15 copies of my first book. Only 14 copies. You're going to take this from me. Only 14 copies left. Please go to IamZoeWilliams.com. Follow me on Twitter at Zoe Williams. Instagram at Mr. Zoe What. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back next week with all new topics, all new information, new guests, the whole nine. Deuces. Holla. So today's Zoa show was crazy. It was heated. Lunell and Jeff Brown got into it, but in a loving way, like brother and sisters do.
Right.
But again, I always say the show is not designed to answer all those questions. It's just designed to get us to think and have open dialogue without judgment. With that said, Lunell said some very powerful things that really kind of encapsulated the purpose and the spirit of the show. What did you think of it?
Well, as I told you before, every time I come here, my blood pressure goes up. I get so fired up. He's the most intelligent brother that I know right now. And the questions that he poses really do get you to thinking. I'm campaigning for the Zoe What show to be on TNT, CNN, not BET, and to run for president of the United States of America and everything. This brother's got it going on. I really appreciate your show. We need more dialogue.
Yes. And Jeff was crazy. Come on in here, Jeff.
The counterpart.
The show was powerful. I mean,
One thing I love about the show is we're real people. And we're going to hear something that we don't like, we're going to respond to it. And I think television needs a space for that real conversation. Do you agree, Jack?
Absolutely. It's a big learning think tank. This is the coolest, smartest, hippest, urbanist. This place goes everywhere. This show goes everywhere. We're going to hit you. If you face forward and speak English, we will hit you. This is a great show.
And it needs to be translated where if you don't speak English, you can understand it.
Wow, I appreciate the compliment. Again, if you want to catch the show live, you go to tradiov.com at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're on for 2 hours, so that's 2 to 4 on the East, 11 to 1 on the West, and it's just a fun show, and we're going to keep challenging you to think differently. We appreciate you tuning in every week. I'm Zoe What, and I'll see you next week.